Welcome to another episode of the Insightful Living Channel. My name is Stephen Harvey. I'm a licensed therapist in New York and Maryland. And the purpose of this channel, again, is just to make mental health relevant and practical, okay, for your personal life, your professional life, and your romantic life, okay? So today, I just want to talk a little bit about an issue that comes across my desk very often with the number of clients who I work with. And this issue is anxiety, okay? Overthinking. All right, I have a lot of clients who say, hey, I'm an overthinker, I'm anxious, and just feel unsettled, okay? So I would just want to make anxiety understandable so that you can know what it is, all right? Because a lot of times we have these abstract terms that we really don't know what it is. Like we can't just pinpoint what it is. So I want to define exactly what anxiety is and then talk a little bit about how to overcome it. If you're someone who's dealing with anxiety and it's affecting you and you feel like you are an anxious person, an overthinking person, this is the video for you. All right, again, I'm a licensed therapist. This is professional information. It's proven information. It's information that I've shared with the number of clients who have applied it and it worked. All right, I'm great at getting clients to address and overcome anxiety. Okay, so anxiety, I'm just gonna make it simple. I wanna make this so simple for you. All right, at its core, anxiety is conjuring up images or narratives in your mind that you don't want. In other words, it's misuse of your imagination. So you are imagining scenarios that you don't want, right? Rather than say imagining scenarios that you do want. Okay, so there's a term in the therapeutic world called catastrophic thinking. Catastrophic thinking is thinking of worst case scenarios, right? So if whatever, I don't know, you maybe lose a job, or maybe a job turns you down, or maybe a relationship that you love is about to be dissolved. you know Most people, instead of, say, if they are coming out of a relationship, instead of saying, wow, I'm grateful to be out of that relationship and I'm hopeful that my next relationship will be even better, most people will maybe think about the relationship as a loss, how much they're losing, right? Or say even on a job, if say the job, say they need to lay you off or let you go, most people, the first thought, the mind automatically is going to default to bills not being paid, right? Being backed up, going into debt, just, all type of problems coming, right? Instead of thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe this is an opportunity for me to pivot. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to dig down deep into my reservoir of creativity to make something great happen. Maybe this is my opportunity to really focus on what I always had in my heart anyway that I was suppressing because I was working this job. At the end of the day, it's very important to seed and anchor positive, empowering principles, perspectives, and outlooks in our mind so that we can reference these phrases, reference these principles, reference these perspectives during times of challenge. We have to be intentional about doing this. If we're not intentional about anchoring these positive perspectives, outlooks, and principles in our mind, we're not intentional, the mind is going to automatically default to negativity. Just like a garden, all right? A garden, you have to be actively cultivating it and fertilizing it and directing it in the right way so that that garden can be fertile, right? And if the day once we stop cultivating that garden, what grows automatically without us even trying? You got it. Weeds. They come automatically. So just like with the mind, if we're not actively cultivating the mind, actively conditioning the mind, actively putting into the mind the thoughts and ideas that we want that align with what we want, with the experience that we want in our life, the mind is going to automatically default to negative, debilitating thoughts, thoughts of deficit, thoughts of doom and gloom, fear. right? And couple that with just the society that we live in. A lot of bad news permeating society through the news, right? A lot of drama and sensationalism, social media, TV, right? So, so let's bring it back, okay? Anxiety is misuse of our imagination. Anxiety is conjuring up scenarios, narratives, situations, and circumstances that might happen, have a potential to happen, didn't happen yet, but we're thinking of the possibility of what might happen, and our body, we're making it so vivid. We're making this scenario so vivid in our minds. We're pondering on it. We're talking about it. We're blowing it up that our body is reacting to it. Our heart is beating. Maybe our body is, feeling unsettled, stomach hurting. Okay, different physical symptoms. Our body is reacting to the vivid picture that we've created in our mind of something that has not happened yet. There's a quote, there's a saying out there that says most suffering happens mostly in the mind than in our actual physical experience. Okay? So, with that being said, knowing what anxiety is our body reacting to the negative, catastrophic, deficit-based scenarios that we're conjuring up in our mind. All right? So the way to change that is we have to switch and change that dynamic. And we have to start to be intentional to think about what we want, not what we don't want. So think about it like this. How can I expect to get what I want in this life if I'm constantly thinking about and speaking about what I don't want? A lot of my clients can paint very, very vivid, detailed pictures and stories of what's going on wrong in their life or what can go on wrong in their lives. But then when I ask my clients, I say, you know what? How do you want your situation to be? How do you want things to go? How do you want your life to flow? Then the conversation gets very vague or very quiet because very few people have taken the time out to actually think about what they want. So when it comes to anxiety, we have to be intentional to flood and permeate and absorb, saturate our minds with positive, empowering perspectives. So for example, I'll give you a few. One perspective that's a great one to anchor and seed in your mind that you can reference in times of challenge, maybe when you feel a little nervous, is everything always works itself out. Great principle to live by. Everything always works itself out. I don't even know you, but all of you have had situations in your lives that you didn't know how it was going to turn out. You were maybe fearful, scared, nervous, but eventually it worked itself out. Everything. And you're still here today. So now, those past situations are proof that there's no need to fear going into the next situation because everything always works itself out. How do you know that your current situation is not necessary to develop you and prepare you for your greater future? How do you know? I know it may not feel good, but it's like, hey, when we're going through a hard time, instead of just automatically thinking about how tough it is and maybe life is attacking you, or some people put a spiritual spin on it and say it's the devil or whatever the case may be. How do you know that that's not a necessary part of your personal training and development to prepare you for your destiny, to where you can look back and say, you know what, when I was going through that time of challenge, that was actually the preparation that I needed to enable me to be effective in this position right now. So that is a great perspective to seed, anchor in your mind. Everything always works itself out. I'll give you another one. Another one I love quotes. I love phrases. Right. Another one is, when you get what you want, that is God's direction. When you don't get what you want, that is God's protection. Another great perspective. When you get what you want, that's God's direction. When you don't get what you want, that's God's protection. So instead of thinking about when things don't go how you want it to go, instead of thinking about, it's some type of, again, bad luck or unfortunate situation or something negative, why not think, maybe this is a block. Maybe this is protection for something negative I was going into that I'm not aware of yet. So you know what? I'm going to trust the process and I'm going to be grateful. Yeah, that opportunity shut down. Maybe because it's something better in store for me. Let's stop being so quick to say, oh, it's a loss, right? So those are two I gave you, okay? So, I'm going to, wrap it up here. Find a book, find a teacher, motivator, video platform, audio book, something you could listen to, read, watch. Find some type of source that is constantly disseminating positive information that you say, you know what, if I adopt this type of thinking, I think I'll be good. Find something that resonates with you. You can be a pastor, a teacher, find something. And that will serve as your mental food daily. I ask my clients all the time, what is your mental diet? A lot of us are so worried about our physical diet, which is important, but what about the mental diet? Is the mind being fed every day with good, empowering, positive, optimistic information? Or is the mind malnourished, starving? I read something that says the mind is like a bank account. You can only withdraw from it what you have deposited in it. You can only withdraw from your mind what you deposited in your mind. So if we're not depositing anything empowering in our mind, when it comes time to overcome a challenge, the mind doesn't have anything to reference. Okay? So that is how you overcome anxiety. The next time, moving forward, you got to be aware, when you catch your mind thinking and conjuring up scenarios that have not happened yet, that might happen, right? Which are scenarios that you don't want, you have to catch yourself, say, stop. Literally tell your mind, stop. We're not doing that. Okay? And then start to now change the direction of your thinking to what you do want. Start to actively seek out an angle or a perspective that is more positive and encouraging. Because in every situation, I don't care what it is, in every situation, there's always an opportunity to be grateful. Say, hey, you know what? It could have been worse. Hey, you know what? At least I have this going on. At least I have my faculties. Hey, you know what? I'm still here. I'm still here. I still have access to all the information I need to get anything done that I want to get done. Okay? Look at everything that you have in your favor rather than hyper focusing on maybe what didn't go your way. And maybe that thing that didn't go your way is actually a blessing, in disguise. Okay? So, and the only way how I can think and speak how I'm doing right now is because I have saturated myself with positive, empowering thinking by different teachers, different books that I've just listened to all the time, over and over. Okay? There's so many out there. So many. Right? You got Les Brown, right? You have a gentleman out there that's great, Wesley Virgin. Okay, you have Louise Hay. Okay, Tony Robbins. Okay, another great one, Holton Buggs, David Imonitie. Right, these are guys that in business, and you know John Proctor, Jim Rohn. Just to name a few. Okay, Eric Thomas. Okay, these are all people who are out and just constantly disseminate empowering ways of thinking. You have to. I heard one thing, and I'm going to let you go after this. Okay, a revelation is great. A revelation is like an aha moment. Say if I share something with you, or you hear something, you say, "Oh wow, oh wow," it stimulated your mind. That's a revelation, light bulb moment, aha moment, whatever you want to call it. That's great. But the power is in the saturation. The power is in the saturation. When you saturate, douse your mind in that information that stimulated you for that time. That's where the power is, because now it goes beyond you just knowing a certain quote or a certain concept. It goes beyond you just knowing it and being able to just regurgitate it, but you are it. You become it. That's what the saturation does. It becomes anchored in you, where that is who you are. So I want to encourage you to find a resource, find a book, audiobook, social media platform, something, okay, that you can delve into daily that is pouring positive messages into your mind. Your mind will have no choice but to take it in, and it will start to affect your thinking. Just like the reaction it has in the other direction of negativity. If we're constantly listening to negative things, speaking about negative things, watching negative things, these things are moving around in our mind, and they're going to be the first thoughts that our mind is going to defer to as we're moving about life. Okay? So that is how you overcome anxiety. The mind is like a computer. It only functions based on the program it is given. Many of us have not been intentional to program our mind in the way that we want. So the mind is taking in all of this negativity from conversations, media, and the mind is just running and operating based on the negativity that we've taken in. That's why whenever a situation happens, or whenever we see something or hear about something, the first thoughts that come to our mind is something negative. And we exacerbate the story so much in our mind that our bodies react to it. And now we are debilitated. We feel disempowered. So all I'm suggesting here with you today is to change that narrative. Fill your mind, protect your mind from negativity as much as possible. Your conversations, what you hear, what you watch, what you're around, and put yourself in environments that are motivating, encouraging. Listen to things that are motivating, encouraging, positive, optimistic, empowering. Read things, right, that are positive, that's giving you new, different ways, more empowering ways of thinking. Okay? Any questions, definitely comment below. I'm here for personal consults if you want. I'll leave my contact information below. Thank you for listening to me, and I'll be back with more content. Whatever questions you have, feel free to ask those questions in the comments, and we will continue to create great value so that you can live with a great insight, okay? And you can navigate this life comfortably, all right? Take care. Peace.